the Linux desktop. I really feel
Here, this is the year.
down.
This is
If it wasn't for the fact that like the Linux kernel completely borked VMware.
We were just waiting for COVID to get over, and now it's the year of the Linux desktop. But before, we just weren't ready.
What else is 2022? It's not the year of anything else useful.
Nothing else useful.
Hey, sorry I was late a little bit.
So are you using Linux as your desktop?
No, I did before, but I have not changed the OS on this laptop yet.
It's all coming back.
One of the people on this call is, can you guess which one? It's oh wait, it just got really good there. Look at that.
Oh yeah. You just have to look creepily.
The closer you get, the better it looks.
It looks fantastic. Yeah.
It looks so good.
This is your new LinkedIn profile pic right here.
John's brand fixing his Linux computer.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know.
There's a speck of dust on your webcam, John.
I'm actually leaning yellow and red for my bandwidth right now, so that might have something to do with my resolution as well.
Yeah, John's coming to us from Hotel Internet. He's currently in an undisclosed location with the throne. The throne currently sits empty. No one has taken the throne.
Yeah.
Well, every time I sit in the throne, it pricks me and makes my hands bleed. I don't know.
Handmaid's Tale.
Is your finger rotting right now? Are you missing several?
Wade.
I know.
It seems to not heal, Wade. I don't know.
Maybe it's that drink you've been drinking. You know, the Maesters are giving you. I don't know.
God damn,
the Maesters,
right there.
Whoa. No, wrong tattoo.
Oh, he's got it.
Yes.
It's not just word on the block. I'm going to be at GurCon next year because GurCon is moving their dates, so we're getting a little bit further away with Wild West Hacking Fest and GurCon. So I would very much like to get on an airplane and go see the fine folks at GurCon because GurCon is awesome. John doing his own laundry again. Shrinkage. No, I had to grab a shirt. So over here for BrewCon, we have 3 monster bags filled with shirts.
Sure.
That are going to be used at BrewCon. And I just grabbed a shirt out of there that's fresh pressed.
Fresh pressed to death.
BrewCon, BRU. It's in
that's It's South African for bro.
Yeah. It actually is a coffee con. John's.
No, it's not.
He's going to do a talk on decaf.
How to hack your Keurig.
You better take all the loot that you brought, empty it out, and just fill up your bags with just coffee beans.
Coffee. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, this is the only con I've ever been to where you get a can of beer in your bag when you check in.
Wow.
That needs to be escalated at some cons.
Escalated.
It does need to be escalated. So are we ready to kick this off?
I think so.
Because for me,
Ryan.
it's 10:30 at night.
10:30 at night.
Oh, let's get going then.
This should be fun. All right, rolling finger.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Black Hills Information Security, talking about news. I am currently on location in, what is it, Erica? It's Mechelen, where I am getting ready for BrewCon. So I'm really excited to be in Mechelen, getting ready for BrewCon, and it's actually my favorite conference in Europe. It's going to be awesome. But on this particular episode, which is brought to you by Black Hills Information Security, if you need a pen test or afraid of getting hacked, if you need SOC services, check us out. And also Antisyphon Security Training. In this episode, we're going to be talking about just breaches. There's so many huge breaches going on. We're going to talk about ransomware. We're going to talk about malware. We're going to try to obscurely talk about politics. It's going to be a show like all of our shows are when we do.
No, this one's going to be special, John.
This one is going to be special because we're going to be watching Ralph's roof to see if it gets taken off.
I am actually I'm going to go to Ralph's house and rip his roof off.
Just because you can now, and it's
I
like
can't.
because it's okay. And then be like, I don't know, like the hurricane seemed to miss everyone except for this roof, and the roof has like these crowbar sized chunks taken out of it.
It's weird. I needed a new roof.
Weird how that works. It's weird
I'm sure there's some guy in Florida posting insurance fraud, or I mean, your hurricane roof replacement services.
Yeah,
They will be actually visiting my door immediately after the hurricane, and they're going to look up and say, hey, there is one little ding there that looks like insurance claim for damage from the hurricane.
Also, somehow my pool has to be replaced and my mattress.
Yes.
What the hell were you doing?
The hurricane threw a log through the window and only punctured the mattress.
You weren't there, John. You weren't there.
I swore an affidavit. Okay.
I swore.
True.
I swore the affidavit.
Scout's honor. All right, so let's jump straight into it. So I'm really out of the loop because I've been traveling and stuff. What the hell is going on with American Airlines? Do they actually have data exposed? Or, God, how do you people do it in Europe? Every time I click a link, every damn website's like, do you accept cookies? Click it. Do you accept cookies?
They should have type.
There's an add-on for that, but it doesn't give you any real cookies.
Gosh, no real cookies? That's what we're here for. So what's going on with this American Airlines thing, other than it's a breach notification?
Shocker, it's a fish.
The end of the day. But it said that the information was names, dates of birth, mailing and email addresses, phone numbers, driver's license, passport numbers, and medical information. And for all of that, for the low price, American Airlines is offering you 2 years worth of identity protection from Experian.
I was just running out.
Do we have a number? Do we have a count of the number of records breached?
No, at the end of the article, they talk about in 2015, they got 10,000.
Right. It's just like we messed up. Sorry.
Yeah. And that was like their big customers. Those are the big ones as well. But they're saying, security is utmost importance, blah, 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 implementing additional safeguards, practice of fraudulent communications, reputable source, blah, 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 blah. I don't know anything other than what they're giving us. And I don't really feel like they're giving us a hell of a lot here at all.
It just says a few. Literally, it says a few.
What does that mean?
I feel like Uber was breached and released way more data right away than this one. Or at least seeing data maturity when breaches occur, at least who's good with social media advertising on it, right?
Well, I think that this one, it kind of says a decent, it says it was a fish. It says they accessed, someone's email account, so it's business email compromise. So I guess they'll probably just go in that person's inbox and look at everything they had access to, and then just send all those people, identity theft protection coupons, and then move on.
Get that email every week.
You were listing up the things that got taken, and seemed like you were listing things forever. I'm more curious what was not part of that breach. What is there?
Well, isn't that always a great question? Let's start with what wasn't hacked. Since you're not going to tell us what was hacked, let's start with what wasn't hacked, and we'll work backwards.
That's honestly a good tip.
Something.
The airplanes are good.
It hasn't been hacked.
That's actually a good CISO tip. Is start with the things that didn't get hacked. No planes crashed that we know of. No planes firmware. Start with the big picture, and then
wait. We're getting an update. Okay, we can't say the planes weren't hacked. Never mind.
This just in. Scratch that.
I guess the only takeaway I have from this is that companies should actually be sanitizing inboxes on a regular basis and protecting what access what is allowed to be stored in people's inboxes, email inboxes, having retention policies, that kind of stuff. It's one of those things, I don't know if there's any products or tools, but I feel like there should be, an email blast radius added into the, concept of how much emails do you have that people can access, all that stuff. I don't know. It's something to think about. I don't know if there's any tooling for that, but just kind of an interesting idea.
I can't think of any, but that is a good idea.
Proxmox has got a really interesting take. They said in a recent Intel Techniques podcast, M. Basil stated his opinion that state-issued driver's license info should be considered to be public data. I no longer want to get my underwear bunched up over yet another breach of that particular tidbit of what is used to be considered non-public data. And I don't know, like, I could go either way on that, right? It's kind of like with hospitals, they no longer ask for your social security number because legally you don't have to give people your social security number. The only place that you have to give your social security number is associated, I believe, with just taxes, I believe. So most hospitals are now asking for your date of birth and then correlating based on that. But my problem with basically that bit of information is there's so many different companies that utilize your driver's license as a proof of identification to get services that it's not just an issue of just that one thing, like public data or not public data, but it's basically changing the perception and the way organizations treat that driver's license data that I think is probably the bigger issue. I don't know. What do you guys think of the
have you I don't know how many people here have taken like online tests for like college, right? They actually make you scan your ID on the camera. I think SANS does it as well.
Yeah.
And they ask, the first one's like driver's license. And I'm always like, I don't want to give that. So I have like some super old college IDs from like 2007 that I have scanned that just barely looks enough like me. But I like driver's license IDs, I could understand being public, but I still don't want to give it away just in case. Like, I've had weird stuff happen with my driver's license in the past where like cars all of a sudden get tickets and then they get back to me.
So here's my biggest thing with it. And you're right. I mean, you're right. But the one that makes me really, really uncomfortable is verification of who you are whenever you go into a cell phone store. You go into a cell phone store and you say, hey, I've got this phone here. It's broken. I need to transfer it to this phone here. And the SIM card's broke. Can you guys just transfer that over? And they're like, well, Mr. Strand, in order for us to actually do this SIM cloning thing, we're going to need some ID. And you show them a driver's license. And they're like, okay, good to go. And they'll just make the transfer for you, right? That's all the verification that you need. And if that was completely public, it would be just absolutely just super cake to do some. No, sorry, it's already super easy, but it would be easier.
So that's what I think is that someone who's an OSINT expert, like Michael Basil or Bazel or however you pronounce it, is not a good source on what is public data because to him everything is public data. Like if you're good at OSINT, almost everything is public data. But there's a difference between someone that's an expert like him going out and finding data that's trivially easy to find if you know where to look versus going on mydriverslicense.com, typing in anyone's name and getting a photo ID. Like there's a difference, and I think it's like an ease of access thing. But I'd also like to remind you that some states still have social security number on the driver's license. And if you haven't gotten your driver's license updated, it was a thing, like it was back when I was getting my driver's license in Ohio, but they were like, oh yeah, we took this social security number off, so now it's more secure. It's like, okay, but what if my grandma had a 10-year-old license or like 5-year, however long they expire? Like, so I don't know.
The military ID used to have the social security number on it, just written straight on. I think I'm pretty, I'm going to have to go look at the last ID I had, but I think they removed it with the CAT card. The actual just writing the social security number right on there. But I mean, obviously the federal government uses that.
So I'm just going to throw this out there. What is sensitive data?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
For a person. Like seriously, driver's license, I can get anybody's social security number for $5 through TransUnion. And we do it in pen tests, right? Very rarely because it absolutely freaks our customers right the hell out. It's like, here's all of your loans. This is your card. This is how much you paid for everything. And people are like, what? How did you get that? It's like $5. But so what would we actually consider to be like what would be information if it was online for you that would make you feel uncomfortable? Where is that creepy line now? Kind of using that Google documentary. What is the creepy line?
I'm already uncomfortable. I'm already uncomfortable. I've always been. You just treat everything like it's critical. And so you assume everything's breached, assume everything's critical and everything's there, and just try to give a little away as possible. At least that's like my tea, like especially like just with like using IDs. But the thing is, I've searched enough on the internet and done enough OSINT to know that if you really wanted to find me and my several like large amounts of information on me, it's easy.
Okay, but we still come back to the core question. Aside from the paranoid people on the show,
Yeah.
what is the
here's what's sensitive. Here's what's sensitive to me. Real-time location data is sensitive to me.
Okay.
I don't want people knowing where I am at any given time. Like the concept of like where I live, I'm fine with that. But like if I'm at the grocery store versus if I'm at home, that's creepy to me. Like if you're able to get that granular of data on where I'm at. Photos, personal photos, obviously my nudes leaking, that's going to cause a lot of, I mean, maybe more subscribers on my OnlyFans, but it's going to cause a lot of other problems for me in my life. So like, that's not great. I would say like SSN, I still try to protect, even though you can buy it for $5 because a lot of attackers, you'd think they wouldn't have $5 to go around. So I guess those for me are the three big ones, is like my current location and then like my photos, personal, private, you know, like experiences I've had, family photos, things like that are private to me. And then like SSN, even though, but mainly like it's about how you use it. Like that's what matters to me. It's like if someone's using it, I want to know. That's like, it's like Apple.
If it's posted online, you start to get really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, and people that are listening, you know, we got a bunch of people, you know, type in the chat, like, where's your creepy line? Like, what makes you uncomfortable?
I'm going to go with Ralph and say browser history for sure. Like,
browser history.
Okay,
yeah. Yes.
That was on two on the head.
Yes.
Everyone's going to know immediately after looking at my history that I'm just a poser who Googles everything.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Right.
No one's going to sign up for your class. Your class, you're just Googling like how to do a class, like during your class.
Yeah, you would think it would be any information that someone needs to impersonate you for an identity's sake or for some sort of service or something. But at that point, or at this point, all of that is just everywhere already. So kind of like you said, I'd be more concerned about my location data than anything. And now everyone has a smartwatch, and you got your Garmin that shows where you run,
and data brokers,
and that shows your house location. And
this opens up to like the bigger.
Strava's trying to obfuscate by a half a mile. You're starting.
Yeah, you can.
They added that.
You can
that's going to be not that you can't go back in history before they started doing that.
They actually. So an interesting bit about Strava is that recently they made it the default to hide the first it's like an eighth of a mile or half a mile of all your activities. So that was like. That was not you can go and turn this off or you can go and opt out or opt in. Like they know that it's a problem and they made it like, I feel like it's rare for a company like that to make a default option for the private option. So I thought that was somewhat noteworthy, but
I think it's great. I think it's a step in the right direction because I agree with you that real-time location is definitely over the creepy line. And the reason why I'm bringing this up and I'm kind of trying to drive this home is it kind of ties into these data breaches. And it's like, why does nobody give a shit? And the reason why is because no one cares anymore, right? We've had so many breaches, like the OMB OMB breach from a number of years ago, where the SF-86 documents were breached. That I was in there, and that was literally everybody, right? That had a clearance at the time, and that kind of breaks things open for you. Equifax, like we're really getting into the point of when we're talking about data privacy and data security. Where is that line that we are trying to protect? And where's the line where we actually care? And right now, I seriously don't know where that line is. Like, I know my social security number is leaked online. I know my
cookies are bad. Tokens and cookies, those are bad. Like anything that gives you real,
I would really hate it if my bash history.
Okay, I would say anything that I guess like
typos.
Tier 1 would be anything that gives someone real time access to your accounts.
Okay,
right?
If it, like it breaking up into tiers, I can dig that.
Because like there have been breaches. There have been breaches that have been like, here's an auth cookie. Like here's they breach the whole database and it includes like session token. You could just like put it in your browser and now you're valid. That's like tier 1. I don't know. I feel like SF-86 is tier 1. That's like literally like it's everything. It's like, oh, you smoked a joint in 1982. That's on there. Sorry, dude. Like,
so Rainer said, real talk, my creepy line recedes every year as I learn how much of my public persona is available in the wild. But I'm also more cautious about providing information, not because I'm worried about the publicness of it, but what are they using it for?
Right.
If they are using it for authentication information in public, it's useless info. That's interesting.
Yeah,
exactly. That's a really good way to look at it. It's like, and there was a talk at San Diego Wild West Hackin' Fest that was by the extreme privacy guy, or I forget his name, but it was an awesome talk. And he basically said, like, anytime you can give fake or wrong information, do. If it doesn't, like at Trader Joe's or whatever, if you're signing up for some loyalty account, it doesn't matter if you're Steve Jobs or if you're using your real name, or like you can use a burner phone number, you can use a fake name, you can like anytime you can give a fake answer, do. And if they're using it to authenticate who you really are, like it's all built so they can sell your data. So if you give them fake data, that doesn't help. I don't know. So.
In that same vein.
By the way, it was the OPM breach, not the OMB, because I'm tired. Sorry. So
we figured it out.
We knew what you
I thought it was bad audio, to tell you the truth.
No. It's just, I'm tired. And I actually misspeak all the time anyway, so it doesn't matter. So Jay Sir Hawk said you got to plant your flag somewhere. But you see, when you start thinking about this is a really effed up mental exercise to start doing and being like, well, what is my private data? What am I trying to protect? Mm-hmm. And it's like,
so OG Captain Crunch asked if, like, because Google Maps tracks you on GPS, right? You can go back and look where you were. How dare they? And it's horrible. But I've had my sister someone filed that she got hit in a hit and run, and she hit them and ran away, and her car was like toast anyway. It's like, but she was able to use that GPS data to show that she was not in that area at that time in her car, and the cops took it and like, yeah, this guy's lying. False insurance. And so there's one thing, if you're being tracked, you can use it for a positive every now and then.
I suppose.
But that could so easily be spoofed. How easy would I guess?
Hey, insurance company took it. That's all.
In that scenario, like it's fraud versus fraud, right? Like I could just doctor up a screenshot that says I did not do any crimes. Like I don't know.
Legit psychic paper.
Yeah, like how would they validate that? I don't know. I guess that is an interesting idea, but that's like the argument of like, well, you have nothing to hide.
Hold on. So Corey, what he's really talking about though, and they do this in court cases too, is combining that information. So like that one piece that you could have faked with like another piece and like another piece and another piece, right? And some of that data is getting captured on us all the time, right? And it could be used in a positive way. I mean, it's a weird like edge case, but
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's throwing out the baby with the bathwater. That's like being like, well, we're eating green goo now, but it's healthy. We're healthy.
It's
no more burgers, no more hot dogs, none of that, but it's healthy. It's like, but I miss my pizza.
Yeah, for sure. Well, speaking of breaches, did we talk about the two big ones?
Let's talk about the Uber hacker.
No, that's what I'm going. You're getting.
Okay, well, he's not just the Uber hacker. He's
also the
Rockstar hacker
as well. The everything hacker.
Rockstar Uber hacker.
Well, also he's in Lapsus. He's hacked everything. He's hacked He's in Lapsus.
Is Lapsus like they all meet each other on TikTok when they were 15? Like seriously, we got one of them was
a hacker talk and they got shut down and now they're still together. It's like a band.
Oh, they were in the fan club for BTS and
he was
this
arrested.
hasn't been confirmed, right?
No, this is all the information that we're going to give is all speculation. There is no real public proof that says that the person that was arrested last weekend is the person who hacked Uber and Rockstar.
Yeah. I love how it's a 17-year-old who immediately jumped to that conclusion now.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, that was them.
However,
these 18 and 17-year-olds, they're hanging out.
Let me give you some interesting points of proof. First of all, they posted illicit photos in the company chat of Uber, which isn't something that most attackers would probably do. So that maybe is a Lapsus IOC.
IOC.
Is that an IOC?
It's definitely one.
Out. Yeah, that checks out. Okay, yeah. And
so the other thing is the Rockstar thing. I feel like that's kind of a meme, right? Like GTA 6 when, like, it's kind of like
hacking
I guess
the video
it's like
game, right? It's like normal kid stuff.
Hacking a video game, total kid thing. Who cares? I guess I'm just like, they didn't. If it was like North Korea, what what were you going to do? Were you going to make a modded version of GTA 6 that like has North Korea as the best country in the world?
Kim Jong really wanted that GTA 6 now, all right, and was really. It's been
Surprised
9
me if
years.
he did. I mean, he's in that generation, and he like went to school in Finland, and I don't know.
He did. He went to.
Honestly,
You're right.
I think he is. I do. I think he is.
There's a possibility. But
So
it
there's a lot of
seems
stuff-
like stunt hacking from a 17-year-old.
There's a lot of stuff to
No,
unpack
yeah.
here, but it was the FBI in coordination with the United Kingdom and in this case, the City of London. Now, we don't have any exact proof that this was the exact attacker, but there's also, I do believe because of the privacy laws and the fact that he's under 18, we're not getting a lot of this information. There was also speculation, or more importantly, that this individual had already been arrested for attacks on Microsoft and on it was somebody else too, and had already been associated. So again, don't have like the full proof. But as Corey brought it up earlier, we don't have any proof, but that's what the court is for, right? So that's where this
when
I felt-
proof or lack of proof ever stopped us doing rampant speculation on this show and on
Oh,
Twitter.
absolutely.
I feel like it's a Darknet Diaries like story.
Oh, it is.
101,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like, they
No,
go
I-
and hack someone, and then they get arrested, and then they're like, you know what? Just one more hack. Who cares? Like,
I
I'm already
will
going.
tell you
What
this,
do you
just
have to
dig
lose?
yourself deeper.
Yeah.
I will tell you this: when the actual evidence comes out, it was good detective work that found this guy, not probably some spying program that was reading
No,
everything.
it was always good tech. It was the fundamentals.
Our men on the
fundamentals-
street were walking around. Hey, knock on the door. Are you hacking Uber? No? Okay, next
All
door.
right, everybody, we got a hack on Grand Theft Auto and Rockstar. All right, we're going to start with 16-year-olds and start
Put
with
out an APB.
Wait a
Just a
minute,
heads
that's
up.
not security, sir. I didn't mean it that way.
If, just
Like
a heads up,
how
if the federal
Infosec
government
companies
wants
go,
to get
come
you,
come at us like a 17 to 18-year-old. No, wait, that sounds
Oh, no.
so
If-
bad.
if the federal government wants to get you, they will find you. The hard part is proving that it was detective work.
Yeah.
So, okay, here's an interesting. Ralph and I were having a little bit of a debate about this earlier. Like the whole, like it almost seems like draconic to be like, you can't access a computer, you can't type LS in any directory for the next 3 months until you're sentenced. Like,
God.
I don't know, like how but it also at the same time it does just seem really stupid that like this person's like already been arrested and they just let him back and then he goes and hacks Uber. It just seems a little. What is
just a
how?
little
Yeah,
bit.
how do you? If you're the like John, let's say you're the cops and you just arrested someone for hacking. And for some reason, you have to let them go. How do you stop them from doing evil things and not just keep them from accessing any information?
I don't know. Put them on a cruise ship?
No, that's actually really good.
I gotta use the satellite internet. The
I
internet's
can't
just so
answer
crappy.
this question. This is impossible.
Give
I
them like
imagine-
really slow internet. Like it's
Your sentence is back to
Yeah.
dial-up. You sent your
There you
sentence
go,
back to
son.
dial-up.
It's HughesNet. Good luck.
Yes.
Oh, even worse than
Yeah.
dial-up.
well, but like
Yeah.
so someone said, how do they not take his tech? You can get new tech. I mean, you could probably hack Uber from a phone, right? Like,
Yeah, just open up the app. It's hacked.
yeah, I don't know. Like, it's tough because it's also like, he has to attend the sentencing hearing on Zoom. Like, he has to like go, like he probably
I see. I just
on
keep on
school
thinking the
or something.
Offspring song. If you're under 18, you won't be doing any time. It's like, all right, so we arrested you when you're 16. You're still not 18. Don't break the law. And it's like, what are you going to do? It's all going to be expunged from my record anyway. So
Oh my gosh. So
And
well, it's not going to be expunged from his future hiring record. Like,
No.
like that's the thing is like,
no, he's gonna
Nah.
end up conference. He's gonna end up going to cons and keynoting.
The UK has a really good rehabilitation program too for kids who get caught hacking, and then they put them in a program, and it's like internships and stuff.
is
like
it?
that
It should
to
be
show
bug
them why.
bounties.
So
It
does
should be bug
Russia,
bounties.
so does China.
but
Right.
you do
So does China.
realize,
China, you just disappeared though.
you do realize that he's going to be on the list, right? The first guy they're going to look for when anything happens, right? So like,
Ugh. Yeah.
This movie.
which
Hackers.
is probably
That's
how they
right.
caught him this time.
How many systems did Zero Cool bring down?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It wasn't Uber.
A lot.
Yeah. So I don't know. All right. So the next story, I don't know why this cracks me up, but the LockBit ransomware builder was leaked online by a quote unquote angry developer.
So this is why this cracks you up, because this is just an insider threat on an
Turtles all the way down, man.
Dude, no one's immune from the attacks that they create. You know what I mean?
No, this is an insider threat, dude. This is totally a disgruntled employee leaking company secrets.
No, I know. Like people who like attack misconfigured security are also vulnerable to misconfigured security, right? Like
that would be a great story if one of the ransomware operators got ransomed by a different ransomware. It's had to happen, right?
That's going to happen.
Yeah, right.
I'm sure that happens.
I'm sure.
But you know what? Anytime we do assumed compromise, not anytime, but a lot of times we're talking about assumed compromise assessments or insider threats. For a long time, I always had customers like, well, can you give me a legitimate example of when an insider threat, and you go to Carnegie Mellon and they have like full database of insider threats. And this is the one I'm going to use from here on out. This is the example.
Ask them how they pay their developers. How do you pay your developers? Do you think you pay them enough to not leak your source code?
Do you pay them in Bitcoin? Because that may be a sign. But I don't know. I just love it whenever these groups tear themselves apart. It's just a little thing that makes me smile. I guess.
I think it, and I think this is pretty much par for the course. Like a lot of the big spam botnets were brought down by like their competitors being like, "We hate you. Here's all the source code. Here's like it's like because hackers treat each other horribly, they end up screwing each other over so much, and it is kind of it's like there's no honor among thieves, right? So like. But I will say, if you are a ransomware developer, you got to pay your employees. You got to give them benefits. You got to really take care of them, because if you don't, we know what happens.
Well, yes, agreed. And the other thing that I think is great about this isn't that it's bad things happening to bad people, but I think it's absolutely fantastic that they have to deal with the same bullshit that organizations have to deal with, right?
They're gonna have like DLP now.
Yeah.
The cost of ransom just went up because we had to call DLP.
And let's remember, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, DLP has never stopped a determined attacker, nor will
you're a DLP vendor, and you're like, okay, what's your use case? Well, we develop ransomware.
Yeah, it's like, oh well, yeah, we're gonna need a license for CrowdStrike too.
I
can tell you
secure those endpoints.
The DLP vendors right now are making new ads that target ransomware hardware.
Mike B0001 just said, ransomware actually finally build DLP that works.
Yes. Yes, they build their own. That's what these black hats actually do, is they build their own. So maybe we could get something out of this. Maybe someone writes, like, it's like the anti-source code leaker ransomware. And like somehow if you like email someone saying you have some information, it just disables your account.
So so you mentioned that, but it's interesting. How often, like, we've had that kind of arc. Like if you look at virtualization, all the virtualization technologies that we use today are absolutely based on rootkit technology. Like if you go back to, what is it? I want to say it was a subterfuge rootkit, but Microsoft actually worked at the University of Michigan, and they developed a full rootkit technology that became the baseline of Microsoft's virtualization technology. And VMware absolutely started based on rootkit technology. So it's not completely out of the realm of possibility that, this will become the DLP technology. It's like you do something wrong, we've locked your files. And until you go to user awareness training, you that's what you're gonna have to do.
Yeah, I mean the ransomware and not ransomware, but like botnets beat us to the punch on a lot of things that now are considered standard features in C2.
Look at fast flux and double fast flux technologies. All of that is CDN technologies. The concepts of load balancing. That's absolutely what botnets were doing back in the day, and now that's your CDN technologies. So I don't know. That's, once again, I'm an old man. Back what it was in my day. We had rootkit virtualization. It was great. User mode Linux, boys and girls. Let's talk about that. No one. Yeah, okay. So, all right. So we got another story I want to switch to. Malwarebytes blocking Google's domains. So did anybody else read this? Because I think that this is hilarious, and I think it's a cautionary tale that we've seen again and again and again.
This is the intern looking at a threat report, copying all the IOCs, pasting it into the tip, and be like, "Oh, there's a Google domain in that one."
I love this. We literally talked about this last week, poisoning the well, right? We talked about it. I wanted to do it with NTDLL and just slowly move IOCs into NTDLL until it just says this is malware.
Google is a rootkit.
I don't think it was an intern. I think it was the artificial
intern.
I think it was the artificial intelligence algorithm. I'm with Corey on this because if you remember a number of years ago, I can't remember if it was Cylance or goddamn, was it Cylance or CrowdStrike that basically nuked Chrome.exe. And rumor has it, the way that actually happened is a security testing firm was basically taking their malware, chunking it up, and kept resubmitting parts of their malware in Chrome.exe again and again and again and again and again and again and again, and eventually trained the artificial intelligence algorithm once it reassembled Chrome.exe. The malware had parts of Chrome.exe in it, and they kept resubmitting it. And they basically just trained it to just nuke Chrome.exe, and it uninstalled Chrome across all of their different customers. And there's also some Windows libraries before that one. So there's been a lot of examples actually of artificial intelligence actually being trained to take something legitimate and then just nuke it. And that's what I think this is.
I will say if Malwarebytes has like a privacy mode, this is a great feature.
It'd be one that breaks DLP. All of your internet.
DLP.
You might not be able to
DLP for the win.
You won't be able to search anything, access your email, or do anything, but you will not have your data mined by Google.
And that's a win for everybody involved.
Well, did you guys hear that Chrome is now going to block block ad blockers in Chrome?
I'm switching to Firefox. And I don't know if Edge is going to do it. I know that it's built on top of
Edge. Did they confirm that? Because I heard I've heard this conflicting time. Like they said, and then it's more of like the back end, like they're changing the way ad blocker would work, and then ad blocker would then have to change. So I haven't seen any official documentation from Google yet that it's going to. Well, I think this is just the masses yelling.
It could be. You could totally be right.
I think they're introducing the feature to be able to do it, and that's why people are losing their minds.
Yes.
Like which begs the question, why would you do that if you don't have plans to do it, right? Like, I don't know.
I mean, listen, Google is an ad company. You can go look at their FCC filings. How do they make money? Ads. That's it.
Yeah.
Ads.
I mean, I guess so. Okay, here's my thing on this, and we should talk about it. Like, okay, so I do sort of agree that like ad blockers break the internet. Like fundamentally, if you don't have any revenue, it breaks a lot of things. Like it prevents certain models of business from working, like news or other, like a lot of whatever you want to call it, advertising based revenue is like kind of how the internet was set up from the start. Like, but at the same time, I feel like you can't just say, okay, we're stopping this and not offer a solution or like a way to fix this. And like, there are examples of like ways, blockchain stuff where like, if you don't want to see ads, you can pay, whatever tiny amount of, tiny currency to not see ads on the site. Or there's freemium models where like, if you pay for New York Times or whatever, you don't have to see their ads. But I guess like, I feel like Google should offer a solution if they're going to make this if they're going to say this problem is like, this is a problem.
How do you start? Their solution is for you to pay for their premium services. Like in terms of YouTube, they're running like 10 ads now to watch a video.
Well, so but I mean for AdSense.
Minutes of ads or pay for premium. For AdSense, yeah, I guess. But
like how they make money, right? Because they make money from people buying their ads, which are, I don't know. That's what I don't get is like, I don't.
We're getting to some deep philosophical questions here today. Right?
We just have to remake the internet. It should take 10 minutes max.
Everybody, the answer is Web 3.0. It's obviously Web 3.0. Right?
I knew it was coming.
Where we're going to go with this, but so if you look at Brave, their model is you can actually have. You can have ads, of course, but then some websites you can actually do some crypto mining while you're visiting their website.
You get paid to look at ads.
Yeah, and you split the revenue, right? And I think that that's interesting. But once again, you look at the energy consumption associated with doing that, and I think that becomes a bit of a concern. So what the hell is our model if we don't have that, right? Because the internet needs to run on something.
We don't let ads get malicious. You have to make, how do we allow list ads? So malicious ads don't. So as like a defender, we have ad blocker installed. Like we have the paid version, right? I would be okay if people got ads if I knew those ads were checked and allowed.
Exactly.
Right? Like do that. Have verified vendors start checking and allow premium ads. All right. Okay.
But Google could totally do this.
They could. And I agree.
Yeah. They totally missed the ball on this, or they dropped the ball because instead everyone's pissed and they're going to switch to Firefox, which great, that's fine. But like, I feel like there has to be a long-term solution because like everyone's going to switch to Firefox, and then companies are still going to be like, "Hey, we're not making any money, so either do this or the internet."
While there were a bunch of websites, if you went to them, they literally threw up an error message that said, "Hey, this website's not loading correctly, probably because blocker."
Yeah,
I think
and there still are. Yeah,
I believe GameStop. It may just be me, but GameStop throws up an error, and I have ad blocker. And I had to go in incognito mode in order to view GameStop.
Someone has to solve it. Basically, let me just, as someone who means absolutely nothing to the internet, let me just say I'm putting out the call. Someone needs to fix this because if we move to Firefox, that's totally fine, but it's just applying a Band-Aid to a bigger problem, which is that Google is trying to make billions of dollars from your data and your ads and your eyeballs, and that way of monetizing things is not going to last forever, and we need to find something.
Because it will never remember, it'll always have to be more and more.
Right.
Do you remember Net Zero? Do you remember Net Zero?
Oh, my favorite.
Yeah.
That you got free internet, but you had an ad bar right there the entire time.
Walmart did it. It was like Walmart Blue or something like that, where you got free dial-up, and it like took up like a quarter. But I loved it because I was broke and it worked.
I don't know.
Guys, we have to get off this story. All right. So our next story is AdGuard's new ad blocker struggles with Google's payment. No, that's wait. Here it is.
Someone just fished John.
Next story. Adware on Google Play and Apple stores installed 13 million. God damn it. Security researchers found 75 applications on Google Play and another top 10 in Apple's App Store engaging in ad fraud. They had 13 million. So this goes back to what Wade was talking about. Like, this is absolutely insane. And like I keep saying, the problem isn't ad blockers. The problem is everybody is freaking terrified of malware coming in the form of ads.
Well, this isn't even malware. This is just fraudulent this is just like, it just makes them money. It generates impressions. But
at this point, I don't see it as a difference at this point, right? Like the malware or whatever they're doing in fraudulent ads, it's just creepy as hell. And
it's malicious.
Yeah,
I would agree. Malicious.
It's arbitrary traffic coming from your device that you didn't consent to. Yeah.
Yes, and this is just one of. I keep saying this. The problem isn't ad blockers. The problem is ads are freaking scary, and I don't. Once again, I don't know what the hell the solution is. I used to think that crypto mining in the browser, and that would be a way that websites could make revenue, was a good approach.
It is. I think that's the approach.
I would rather have like a legitimate like crypto miner and a network set up with disbursement of funds from the crypto miner, where I get some of those funds, and then the websites that I go to get some of those funds directly. Cut freaking advertisements out of it completely, because if you're looking at crypto mining, I think that's a more containable problem insofar as defining what it is that's allowed to run on the browser, rather than saying ads.
Yes.
Ads are so much more complicated. And seriously, I use Brave like on my phone. That's my browser that I use.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like the crypto mining. I mean, I know that you can do like Monero and some of the different currencies that are out there are a lot less CPU intensive.
So it shouldn't be mining in the browser. Like there are ways to do it that are eco-friendly and don't, like proof of stake. You don't do any mining. There's no mining. It's just, I mean, there is like some computational stuff that's on chain, but really
level of...
the only thing that matters is that some big company is going to have to implement this. Like someone is going to have to it's going to have to be Google or Mozilla or one of these. Like people aren't going to go and find an alternative browser. They're going to use whatever comes with their phone. Like people aren't going to go into the settings and look at what's the wallet address where I deposit funds so I don't see ads. Like no one's going to figure that out. Like you have to make this the thing that is default, and that's someone's going to have to step up. I don't know.
All right. It's time for you to step up, Corey. Create this premium ad company. I'll do some,
we got this.
The address. We can do it. We can do it.
I think this is a good chance for it's like Mozilla, and because they're well known to actually step into it, right? Oh, God damn it.
Yes. Someone needs to step up. It's gotta be Mozilla or, Brave is a great option, but it's also people who purchase ads have to be on the same page. Like New York Times needs to allow me to use my cryptocurrency to have a subscription and not have to go through a middleman and, they collect all my data and all that. So,
yeah, no, true. All right. So the next story, we've been joking about, NSO Group in the United States trying to get NSO Group level data and all of that. And Vice released an article, U.S. military bought mass monitoring tool that includes internet browsing and email data. I don't know.
And no one was surprised.
Yeah.
So is this is this posted by Edward Snowden 5 years ago?
I don't know, but they're paid $3.5 million.
Wow, that's a deal.
Augury. And once again, this is just a data aggregation site, right?
Yeah.
They just got tons of data from multiple different locations, and they can actually pull it back in to a centralized location as well.
It's threat intelligence, though,
Well, so this is where this is actually really interesting. This is really interesting because, like Ralph said, this is intelligent. It's so tough because I guess what is the law for what counts as warrantless wiretapping and is illegal, and what is just this is 50 people Googled big butts in 1996.
Well, I can answer that question. Specifically, whenever the military is looking at their data, they look at two different types of data: signaling versus content data. So if you're actually looking at signaling data, consider that to be your TCP/IP header, right? And they can gain access to that, and also some of the actual payload data as far as URLs and things like that. They generally look at that as signaling data that you have to give away in order for your packets to get transferred. And that also includes cell phone locational data. You have no right to privacy for your cell phone locational data. Sorry, that's just the way it is. Your cell phone needs to know how to find other cell phones. The content is usually where they start to draw the line. Once they actually start getting into that payload associated with it, then you've got to go FISO or get a warrant whenever you're dealing with U.S. citizens. But this seems like this is a data aggregation platform that was a bit different, right? And specifically, they're saying things and this is what blows my mind. They say that this platform makes a wide array of different types of internet data available. These types of data include packet capture data related to email, remote desktop, file sharing protocols. And PCAP is basically full packet capture.
That could be totally useless, by the way.
But I know it absolutely could be, because isn't most of that crap actually in
TLS? Yes, for sure. I think, there's two ways to look at this. This could be, well, DNS, but again, that isn't always clear text.
And this is Team, I'm going to mispronounce it because it's Welsh, I believe, but Team Crimeu. That's not how it's pronounced, but that's where they're actually getting this. And they said it's not exactly clear where they're getting this data as well.
So
are you trying to read my message, or are you trying to find out where I've been and where I am?
Because there's nothing else you could do with packet captures.
And
that is very sensitive, right?
Ask your intent. And that's probably what they're looking for. Right,
which is I agree.
Right?
I don't know. There's a lot of metadata that can draw a very big picture, and everyone's worried about the photo that they sent. Right?
Yes.
Correlating that data with other data.
Exactly. I think what this is just someone figured out how they could convince the government to give them $3.5 million for a pile of crap. But that's you could potentially
this is not Kimru. Thank you very much, Clovis. So I want to get in their quote on this real quick. Our platform does not provide user or subscriber information, doesn't provide results that show any pattern of life, preventing its ability to be used as target individuals. Our platform only captures a limited sampling available data and is further restricted to only allowing queries against restricted samples and limited data sets, which all originates from malware, malicious activity, honeypot scans, third parties who provide feeds of the same. The results are then further limited in scope and volume of what's returned.
But then they say they have visibility into 93% of the internet. So I feel like their marketing team might not be commenting.
Let's parse this, okay? Does not provide user or subscriber information. I would argue that's true because the vast majority of their data that they're going to have is going to be NATed data. So it's going to be this IP address is talking to this IP address, but you don't necessarily know the RFC 1918 IP addresses on that side of the communication. So I think that there might be a little bit of parsing of the language, just hair here.
We're also just going to just take their public statement as the truth, right?
Yeah.
I mean, cookie usage, URLs visited, like, dude, there's so much personal information in a URL. Like,
just your DNS history.
Your DNS history. Like, this is, to me, this is huge tracking. Or it's complete junk. It's one or the other. It can't be like, we have all the internet's data, but it's totally anonymized. Like, you know how easy it is to de-anonymize data? Like, it's so trivial.
I just, I agree. But I think that they could definitely be parsing words in that statement. The Usted said, knowing the inner workings of an ISP, there are data lakes that collect full ISP metadata, and these data lakes are shared with third parties. And most of that is net flow information that the ISPs are actually sharing, which honestly, net flow information or IPFix information or Zeek information, most of the time I'm willing to bet that it's net flow information. Once again, that can tell you a hell of a lot about what's going on.
It can tell you a lot, especially if you have context, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not just that information by itself is like anonymized almost, right? But if you add context to that and you know where and what you're looking for, you can actually start painting pictures that you kind of couldn't paint before.
Correct. If you give me a large enough data set with any unique identifier in it at all, anything, a URL, a DNS name, anything that, like, if I went to change my password at Google and it said / my email, I know who you are. I know your name. I know where you live. Yeah. Like, it's so trivial. And like, we've seen it many times. You can de-anonymize data at like a large scale. You can be like, I don't know. This is super creepy. I mean, either that or it's just a bunch of TLS encrypted nonsense. I guess the whole common sense approach is, if it's valuable enough that the government was willing to spend money on it,
it probably.
Yeah, but still, I come back to, it's like 3.8 million. I know this is going to freak out some people here just a little bit, but
don't tell me. Don't tell
that's
me.
not very much money at all.
No, it's not. It's not. That's true. It is kind of a bargain. If you can get 93% of the internet traffic for $3 million, that's like I've seen breaches.
The trial price for the government.
I've seen data breaches that cost more than that.
So this is what Usted said, not NetFlow, which is sampled. Sometimes it's sampled. Remember, with NetFlow, you can set exactly what's the level of fidelity that you're going to have. But not NetFlow. Data lakes contain full session, source, destination, cert, common names, clear text queries, etc. All jumped into a fat Elasticsearch clusters, and that sounds a little bit closer to using like Zeek level.
And it's all under the guise of, it's for malware, and that's what the team Steamru or whatever says, is that it's like it's related to botnets, or it's related to spam, or it's related to, but like,
it's threat intelligence.
It's threat intelligence, but like what isn't related? Like, if my computer is like sending spam messages, does that mean like, and here's my bank account details? Like, I feel like I'm giving the same data to the person that botted my computer than I am to this, like, I don't know.
This is why I only use Google for my DNS, because I trust them with my data.
I do want to shout out Team Kumri. Team Kumri has a really good news feed, Dragon Bytes News. You can subscribe to their email feed, and a lot of their stuff comes to our news feed. And they email about 4 to 5 emails a day, and it's excellent, like, beginning of the day what's
If
going
I
on
subscribe to their feed, does that pull me out of their data lake that they're selling to the government with all my personal info in it? Because I'm not I'm not a big fan of that. Can I pay them to take my data out of their lake? I don't know. I mean, it's hard because I love OSINT. I love collecting this data on my own. I do it all the time. I scrape random websites just for fun. This is a hobby of mine. I love collecting intelligence, but I also don't love it when someone is monetizing my personal data that I have. Like someone's getting rich from my. I'd like to sell this myself. Just let me.
Corey, are we the baddies?
Oh my God, John, are we building tools that bad people could use?
We're bad people.
Well, no, you guys are. All right, let's cross the line here.
Steps out. I'm stepping out of the room.
Yeah.
Man,
and next up, we're going to talk about the open source tool debate in computer security. And then we're going to decide which implant framework is the best.
Here we go.
Everybody. So,
no.
So, I don't know. Are there any other final stories that you all want to go to? Because it's 11:30 at night here.
The SIM swap one, that Ralph.
Oh yeah,
SIM swap.
So we just kind of talked about,
phones,
yeah. Well, we were just kind of talking about hackers, getting hacked, and then but this is like facing real consequences. So I guess one of the SIM swappers was abducted, beaten, and held for $200,000 ransom. So this is like real life ransomware.
Real life.
So yeah, this guy was at the bottom of the barrel of the SIM ransomware group.
Is it called cybercrime if you're beating someone up in person?
Dude, no, they have they have literally like physical threats as a service where you pay someone to go.
Oh,
yeah.
That's not cybercrime. That's just crime.
That's just crime. No, it's crime as a platform. It's crime as a platform.
Don't. It's going to think it's cool crime, and it's not.
So I guess this is what can happen if you screw up.
Well, yeah, I guess the idea is that the kinetic world can come find you just as much as the
I feel like that's something that isn't spoken a lot about.
Though, you got to admit, he had a badass handle. His name was Foreshadow.
He did not see this.
Why is it that the 16-year-olds always have the best handles?
Best names. I just feel like we're missing out here. I've been Strand.js my whole life. I want something cool.
You can do better. Go with Wintermute. That's a good one.
Wintermute. Yeah.
I don't know if anyone paid the ransom, so we don't know.
No, and then he talked to the FBI. Yeah. Later on.
I will say, if you are a cybercrime group and you're like, why isn't the FBI giving us enough attention? This is a great way to get noticed.
If you want to get on the list that Corey was showing me earlier of like
the most wanted.
Yeah.
This is how you get moved up in the list of the FBI's queue.
GCA cybersecurity. You can get those 5 stars.
His name was Gus.
Gus?
Yeah, Gus, I got to be honest. You may be beating up Foreshadow, but your name sucks. You can do better. And I'm not ripping on you. This is me trying to help you out. Coming up with a better name.
We can come up with some recommendations.
I don't know. I got a recommendation like Prisoner 11618. I think that might be a good one.
Most Wanted 007. Kind of cool.
007. There you go.
$10 million bounty.
So what did he do to get did he just not send the money that he got paid, or?
Yeah, so pretty much he didn't put out as much funds as he was supposed to, and then also this is the 2 rival crews, SIM swapping crews. Yeah, and
they have crews now.
Oh, they have more than crews. It's a whole thing.
It's a whole
crazy.
shop.
It also involves physical crime. So I guess I'm not that surprised because the SIM swapping usually involves they run in, they steal some kind of the physical device that the retail people use. And then they do as many as they can, and then.
So this guy was actually talking about getting jobs at cell phone companies.
Yeah.
And as he was begging for the person to pay $200K, he was saying, "Hey, I'll get a job wherever you want and do the SIM swaps. Just give him the $200K. I'll work it off. I promise." But the one thing to think about too is they're not targeting money; they're targeting crypto, and they're looking for that SIM swap and the
for the two-factor.
Yeah.
So the moral of the story is.
Don't tell people you have crypto.
Don't do
Well,
crime.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Don't do crime.
Don't do crime. That's a good one.
When crypto was hot, how many of you knew people that were like, oh yeah, I made like, $100,000, $200,000 on crypto, and they're talking about it constantly on Facebook and stuff. It's just, don't do that.
You know
We're
what?
not talking about it right now.
You know what you could do to identify all the crypto whales is you could use that big data set of 93% of the world's internet traffic, and you could find all the whales real quick.
All the whales.
For one easy payment of $5 million, was it $3.5 million?
Yeah.
But that's
You
the
can
military
serve
price,
them
dude.
ads.
Do you know they have a cheaper price if you're not the military?
Yeah, and that's their expensive price.
Yeah, that's
God.
yeah, but I mean, I think this is one of those. It is interesting when it when it gets real. Like that's there. A lot of these attackers, I feel like they're typing on a keyboard and they don't realize things are real, but then they're sitting in the back of the car getting beaten up and they're like, it was real, guys. It was real. Just so you know, this wasn't a threat that I got on Xbox Live. This is real.
This happened. FlackVet said,
he
if this happens to SIM swappers, what happens to the guy who leaks ransomware group's internal source code? You don't want to know. Like,
I won't hear about it.
That's messing with like Eastern European and Asian crime syndicates.
It's not what happens to them. It's what happens to their family.
We were just talking about this too. The ransomware, the Eastern European district of ransomware. They may be having to relocate sometime soon, so we might catch a bunch more soon.
Right. Yeah, you never
They're
know.
going to move to South Dakota.
They're going to move to South. It's like the Argentina of Russia.
Over there. They're hiring.
John gets some like
Eastern
Eastern European neighbors.
AdGuard meetings are very well attended by people who speak Russian. That's great.
They're asking to plug into John's fiber. Hey, you already ran the line. Can we just run it over
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I mean, I guess like that. The one takeaway that's interesting from my perspective is that we're just seeing cybercrime is just organized crime now. Yeah, it's just gangs. Like there's no like, yes, there's lapsuses, which there's 16-year-olds hacking Uber for fun, but this pays. This is just on another list. Yeah, you've got extortion, you've got, racketeering, and then you've got cybercrime. Just throw it like it should be part of your standard repertoire if you're a gangster now. So
why do you rob banks? Because it's where the money's at.
Why
do you do cybercrime? Because it's where the money is at.
Yeah, exactly.
Businesses, they have employees that they apparently don't pay well enough not to leak their source code.
Yeah, really. What are the benefits for gang membership nowadays? Do they give full health care or
full healthcare win in my gang?
They have a handbook.
Somebody can send that to me. Like, what is the benefits package for these?
What's the benefits package? One, free stripper night at the club. You're there. No one else is allowed to be there. It's just you. If you get beaten up, you can choose the gender. It's all
taken care of.
It's all on the HR management app. It's all on the HR management app. It's in there.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God.
There's
all right. That's it, everybody. We're going off the rails. That's it. Brian, please, God.
Separation.
Bronwyn. It's not